Hello, welcome back. Mike from Canavan Wealth. I want to do a follow-up video to my world population video that I put out not too long ago because I read a chapter in this book called Factfulness, which is a fantastic book. It'll be in my book series, but I want to jump right to it largely because of that graph right there, or chart, and kind of a follow-up from what we had talked originally. So I'm going to do a quick recap of that video, but really go watch it because there's a lot more to it. Effectively, we talked about how world population is expected to top off at about 11 billion by the year 2100. And that is predicted by the United Nations as well as most other people that predict it. This website is actually it's called Gapminder right there. It's from the people that wrote the book. And this is actually a video about, effectively, if you were wondering how accurate that is, this is a little video you can watch about answering that question. The answer is very reliable. The UN's been predicting world population since 1950, and they've been getting it right? They've got 70 years of track record, and very few people disagree with world population projections. However, to talk about what we already discussed in world population is very interesting to look at this chart, which I'll move down. I'm going to move my ugly face over here. And here we are. This is interesting because really the reason that world population is going to continue to go up over the next, 70 years and then come down is because the number of children is not increasing. That's a big deal, right? So it's not that we expect something in the future to change and that world population is going to start coming down because of it. It's because something already has changed, and it is this way now. And that is there are about 2 billion people, about 2 billion children in the world. And we expect in the year 2075 or 2100 that there are going to be 2 billion children in the world. Meaning the number of kids being born into the world is not going to change in the future. It has already changed to the fact that it is not increasing. So where are the people going to come from? It's from those kids growing up, right? You can see like right here, here, and here. Those spots are going to fill up as the world population ages, which means the population right now, effectively at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're at this kind of more 8 billion. We're not, we're kind of in between here. This is what world population kind of looks like now, and this is what it's going to look like in the future. Which, if you remember back to my video, I talk about the problems of world population, of decreasing population. I talked about how we were kind of in a Goldilocks zone in which total world population is both increasing, but also the percentage of which consume our goods is increasing. This book goes into a lot of that, but it's also very interesting. There's actually a third factor that I realized once I saw this about this kind of Goldilocks of economic growth that we're in, which is the percentage of the population which is productive and consuming, which is largely this section right here, which is these are the working class population. That is also growing as a percentage of the population. So not only is the big number getting bigger for the next 70 years, and the number of people living in countries who are becoming consumers is getting bigger, which, just a quick fact there, again from this book, those living in extreme poverty have gone from 50% in 1960 to 9% recently, right? So that is absolutely happening. And then this third factor, which is the percentage of the population that are economic producers and consumers, is growing, right? So it's like a very interesting from this kind of Goldilocks zone. Now, it is troubling to see, right now we effectively have about 5 billion people supporting 1 billion people. We will soon have, by soon, 2075, 6 billion people working to support 3 billion. That's those problems with the decreasing population size. So there are economic hardships coming with a population chart that looks like this. But for right now, this kind of Goldilocks zone is almost, kind of further supported. And then the last thing to note about this is that this idea here that a lot of people who are extremely pessimistic about world population will often cite that, effectively the more poor countries that we help and save, the worse population growth will be because they have so many kids. But the truth is that the only countries in the world that still have fertility rates in the 3, 4, 5 number are extremely poor countries. And lots of countries in the last 40 years have gotten out of extreme poverty. The book uses a example of Bangladesh. Most people associate Bangladesh with extreme poverty, people dying in floods and monsoons every year. And the country is really not like that anymore. It has radically changed. And their fertility rate has come way down. So the answer to slowing world population growth, if that is your prerogative from a sustainability sense, is to actually continue to help poor nations get out of poverty, give them better access to healthcare, give them better access to modern medicine, contraception, and their population will stop growing as fast as it is. So it is not to leave them to their own devices. It is to help support them kind of join the modern world and be able to better themselves. That is the best way to slow population growth, which is to save more children, more people in poor nations so that they can join the rest of the modern world. I thought it was super interesting. Move my face back up here because it helps me look at it. And if you have any questions, I cannot have comments in my YouTube videos. So just email me at mike@teton-wealth and I'll answer those questions via email as well as make some follow-up videos on that. And you can also schedule appointments and get through to my website and all my social media in the comments. I hope this was helpful and thank you for listening.